Hello, how's everybody doing? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I've been doing a lot of talking. We've been training election workers. Some of you are in the room. You're already trained up and you're ready to go, right?
Yes.
Now, come on now. I'm always bring the energy. So y'all ready to go, right?
Yes.
There we go. There we go. Thank you very much. So, what's a truth verification exam? I heard somebody ask that question.
Yeah.
So, there are two forms of truth verification. There is computerized voice stress analysis, and there is also the polygraph, which you've heard of. So, the computerized voice stress analysis, it measures the stress in your voice when you're asked certain questions. And you have frequencies in your voice, and that machine can detect stress. So that interview with someone like me will probably last about 4 hours. Anybody want to volunteer? Anybody? No hands. Okay, no problem. My longest interview was probably about 7 hours. So.
Is it over criminal things?
Well, it can be used in both criminal investigations. I've done them in criminal investigations. It can also be used in pre-employment as well. So the pre-employment is usually where it's a little bit more lengthy. Criminal investigations, we're getting right to the point, right? Did you do it? So, all right, so elections. It's 2020. It's here. We've been waiting on it. We've been talking about it. We've been saying, oh, 2020 gets here. 2020 is here. It is time to jump in and get started. We have 3 elections this year. We have first our presidential preference primary. Try saying that fast. I've been doing it quite a bit. So a couple updates. So I'll step to the side for those of you that want to see the screen. So vote by mail. There have been some changes that were made by the legislature. How many in the room vote by mail? So you've gotten the ballot by now, and you saw that there was some lines on there where you could provide your phone number and your email address. That was done in an attempt to be able to better contact someone in the event there was an issue, a signature mismatch or no signature at all. Believe it or not, we do get those. I will tell you, this change happened in July of last year. That change was very beneficial in our Oviedo election. We had the opportunity to call, text, and send an email and get directly to someone when in the past we have always traveled those same routes, although it wasn't required. That was another change in the law that now, since that information is available, we have to call you, text you, email you, and send you a first class letter. So that was never a requirement in the past, although we would still try to use those means of communication if they were provided. If you look on your voter registration application, you could put that information on there, and if you did, we would use that to contact you. So now it is a requirement, and we do use it. It is public record, so you aren't required to put it on there, but if you do put it on there, we will use it, okay? So now we can canvass vote by mail 22 days prior to an election. That changed, it was 15 days, it's now 22. And also another great thing, I think, for voters is the cure affidavit. The cure affidavit is used to cure any issue that it arises from a vote by mail, be it a signature mismatch or no signature. Now a voter has 2 days after the election to turn it in by 5 p.m. The previous deadline was the Monday before the election by 5 p.m. So that's really good. They have more time to get it back. Another change with vote by mail is the request date. It's now 10 days. That gives us more time to get it to you and gives the voter more time to get it back to us. So those are all good changes for vote by mail. We had some changes with provisional ballots. Provisional ballots are issued anytime a voter's eligibility is in question or it can't be determined. But now there's a cure affidavit that they can use for that as well, and they can turn those in 2 days after the election also. So a lot of good changes in those two areas. For everyone else that doesn't vote by mail, the primary election date has moved. So now it is moved up a week. It is August 18th. It was usually in the last week of August, and now it is in the third week. And the purpose behind that is they wanted to put 11 weeks between these very important dates. So for candidates, you have to qualify by, the qualifying period is June 8th to June 12th. Last day to qualify is June 12th by noon, okay? So they wanted to put 11 weeks between June 12th and August 18th, to the general election. That was of a huge benefit to the elections office. I asked this question when I was here last time, and I really appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you again. Is, you know, we had 8 days between the primary election and the general election to prepare a ballot for the general election. Most people don't know that. So now we have more time. We have more time now. Now we have 15 days, so we can take a deep breath and get ready for the big election in November, okay? The no solicitation zone, that is now 150 feet. So candidates aren't very happy about that, but voters are. Voters are. Because they don't want to be accosted as they go to the polls, right? And most of the time, their decisions are already made. And you know, I've even heard that voters have changed their decision because of the behavior that they see when they come there, right? So it's a good thing now for the 150 feet, okay? Your election dates are early voting for the presidential preference will be March 7th to March 14th. We will be open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Well, election day is, we're going to be lucky on election day. Election day is on St. Patrick's Day. It's on St. Patrick's Day. A lot of people will be wearing green. Our primary early voting will be August 8th to August 15th, and election day is August 18th. And our general election, we will have early voting from October 19th to November 1st. 14 days we will be open, because that's when everybody will be coming out, and we expect a huge turnout. A couple of the things that we've done in anticipation for that is we purchased more machines. So early voting this time around, 5 of our 7 early voting sites will have 2 machines, 2 early voting techs. So now we will be processing voters a lot faster than we have in the past. That's a really great thing for us. We needed to do it. Our voting machines, your voting machines here in the county are new. We've had them since 2017, and we are learning as we go how many machines we need. We've learned that there is a bit of a pause. The machines are more deliberate, more sophisticated as they accept your ballot. So that creates a bit of a line at the ballot box. So we said, you know what, let's add a second machine and a second voting equipment tech to get people processed, because it's really quick to check you in. It's really quick when you get to the voting booth, as long as we don't have to read all those amendments, right? I'll tell you what, I mean, last year I was exhausted. I was flipping back and forth, and I was, man, this is a lot. I don't anticipate that being much of a change in November, so be prepared. Please look at your sample ballots that go out 2 days or 2 weeks before. Make sure you do that, okay? Google, look it online. If for my vote by mail voters, you got it best of all. It's the most convenient way to vote, and you can sit there and research all your amendments and get all your stuff done. It really is the best of both worlds. So, you know, these are your election dates. So I look forward to seeing all of you out there. And if you have, remember, if you want to do any type of party changes, you want to change your party for the primary election, book closing happens 29 days. Registration closing happens 29 days prior to each election. Okay? Won't matter in November, but in the primary it was, as Florida is a closed primary state. So, election security. Election security, very hot topic, right? Everybody's talking about election security. Happens to be my #1 priority is making sure that the choice made is the choice counted. Doesn't matter what your party affiliation is. Doesn't matter what your philosophical beliefs are. If you are an eligible voter in Seminole County, you will have the opportunity to make an oval target on your ballot. I told all the election workers that. I'm telling all of you that. The very first statement I made in front of the governor was very clear. Elections are political. Our work is principled. What we do at the elections office is principled work. Leave your politics at the door. Okay? So, election security. A couple of things that we've done is first thing, we went into a partnership with the Department of State called JESSE, the Joint Election Security Initiative. And that's where we had cyber navigators come in and do a network check of our network systems. And we passed that with flying colors. We had no critical areas of vulnerability. We had the Department of Homeland Security come in and do remote penetration testing. We passed those tests as well with a green light. And we look forward to having them come in and do a on-site penetration testing here before the November election. And as a matter of fact, I have a very important phone call this afternoon where I'm hoping to have some more penetration testing done from some very reliable sources. So I look forward to sharing that with each and every one of you and all the voters of Seminole County, because that's going to be a really big deal. So we've taken some very serious steps in our pursuit of our cybersecurity hygiene. And as you can see, we've had the FBI come in and do a check of our network as well. So we always have room to improve. We always make sure that we are protecting our sites. We have a decentralized network, and let's just jump into that. So if you look at this diagram, in the state of Florida, we have a decentralized network, okay? All the SOE office, all 67 of us, we're not connected. So that means whatever happens in one county doesn't affect the other. That's a good thing, okay? But we have a decentralized network within the office. So now we take it a step further. So now you have your tabulation, you have your website, you have your voter registration, and you have your vote by mail. So as you all know, vote by mail is the very first votes that are counted. Very first. That is done internally. Those numbers don't travel across any internets. Second is early voting. We do not transmit early voting results. Those are not transmitted. They come in at the last day of early voting, and that is manually uploaded. That's a manual upload. So we only transmit tabulation results on election day. So that's about 20 to 25% of the vote. In 2016 presidential election, that was 17%. So a lot of the articles that you read don't tell you that the majority of your votes are manually uploaded, and they do not travel across any internet. So here we are, it's election day. We're going to transmit. Seminole County, we are one of 8 counties that operate on a zero tunnel. We had that installed last year. So that means we have our own private network of transmission. So we don't transmit across the internet. Our IP addresses are not forward facing. That's a good thing. It's a very good thing. So when we do transmit, does anyone know why we transmit on election day? Come on, I told you I'm interactive. I want to hear your feedback as well. I know we got questions. Why do we transmit on election day? There you go. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Because everybody wants to know now. Who won? I want to know, right? The news organizations, they got those cool TVs and they're pressing on the states and you're watching them turn colors. That's why. Because if it wasn't that way, the furthest precinct over in Wekiva, I could just say to the clerk, grab someone of a different party affiliation and take that USB and just drive it on back. And I'll see you at the office when you get there. What do you think the traffic's like at like 7 o'clock? I'll be getting calls from everybody, right? Chris, what's going on? It's been 2 minutes. That's why we're transmitting. We've upgraded our modems. We're now on 4G, so we're transmitting faster. Election workers really appreciate that. They're very happy about that. They don't have to move the machine next to the window and find a cell. You can hear me now. I don't have to do that. So we made some very serious steps to make sure that we are in a great posture moving into our elections. So the LNA, logic and accuracy test. Logic and accuracy tests happen 10 days before early voting. That is when someone from the Department of State comes in and they certify that our machines are in good working order. So we don't just dust the machines off and send them out. We make sure that they work. And that process, what we do is there's a certain percentage that is required by law. We just go ahead and put all of our early voting machines in the LNA. So essentially any machine that touches the ballot has to go through the LNA, but we put all of our early voting machines in the LNA, and we do that because still the most preferred method of voting here in Seminole County is early voting. So that's why we do all of our machines. We are a March since paper ballot state. I do not get any more questions. I don't know if I haven't looked through the questions yet. If anybody's going to ask me about voting on cell phones. I don't think I'm going to get those questions anymore after Iowa. I don't think those questions are going to be coming anymore. Paper ballots. Most states are going back to paper. Why paper? You can't hack paper. It's a great check and balance. So let's talk about the process in the precinct. This is something else that they don't put in the articles that they write. They don't tell you that, like a bank. Has anyone ever worked at a bank before? Yes? I heard a yes. When you worked at a bank, you had to do closing procedures every night because you were accounting for money, right? It's the same thing with the elections office. Closing procedures. Our tabulation and our check-in are separate systems, but they have to match at the end of the night. So, if we had 1,000 people check in on our e-poll books, how many ballots should we have? How many should register on the DS200? 1,000. That's right. I know I'm asking you all the questions. I'm going to find another table. Right? And when that receipt prints out, where does it go? Where does it go? Goes posted. That's right. So some people still do this. They still drive around to all the precincts and look at the results that way. They still do that. So these are the things that aren't shared with you in a lot of the articles, that there are many, many checks and balances that we staff our precincts by. We make sure that they are balanced precincts. We don't have one party affiliation dominating the other. Another reason why we had to do, one of the election workers mentioned this morning that they had to be moved. One of the reasons why we have to do that because of party changes. Everybody's changing their party, so then that changes the dynamics of the precinct, right? So then we have to move people around because we have to have a balanced precinct. When the ballots are transported back to the drop site, the clerk has to take someone of a different party affiliation. There has to always be checks and balances.